I listened to the movie that I had when I was growing up of The Hobbit from like the 1970s, and I was surprised that the spiders sound a lot more like what we think of as Gollum. And then, so the only what I'm saying is I really don't know what I'm doing. My reference wasn't the reference that I expected. And then the other problem is if there's multiple spiders, I don't know how much they need to be differentiated from each other. Kind of just judge it as you listen, like, really, like it doesn't matter, just keep going, or like, let's try something. I'm kind of rely on your judgment on that. You mean to just go for a spider and give me some feedback?
Chapter 8. Too Many Spiders, Too Many Rules. Inside the forest, the light was dim. Zertelo made his way over roots and through the undergrowth. A smooth stone ledge, like a natural wall, closed off the woods ahead. Going around would take time, and the lizard decided to climb the enormous gray-green rock to see what was on the other side. He quickly discovered what the green was on the first steep curve. He slipped on the gooey, slick algae, claws wheeling desperately for balance before toppling sideways into a pile of dead leaves. This is going to be hard without my full tail, thought Zertelo. On the second try, he made it to the top. As he conquered the rock ledge, Zertelo saw that he was entering a world he had never imagined. The evergreen trees had grown so mighty, their tangled branches blocked out the sky. The giant vine-covered towers were shrouded with ghostly tendrils of moss. Zertelo ran forward in the direction of a slash of yellow sunlight. Strange shapes and sounds moved around him. A pair of claws stirred in the vines to his left. A drop of water splashed on a rotten log behind him, and Zertelo had the feeling something was watching his every move. He looked around and saw only more trees and ferns in every direction. Zertelo fought against despair. Krogrog had never spoken of a path. Perhaps there wasn't one. Why had Vodbiot allowed him to pass? The forest was too big for him. Zertelo wondered if he shouldn't go back and ask for directions. No, Zertelo told himself firmly. It was up to him to reach CastleOak. The only choice worse than going the wrong way was not going at all. A noise like tiny feet scuffling in the leaves behind him caused him to turn sharply with his sword ready to fight. But whatever had been following him was gone. Zertelo listened. As he began to walk again, he thought he heard the scuffling feet move above in the trees. Each time he took a step, he heard it coming from the shadows around him. Each time he stopped to listen, the scuttling stopped too. His claw gripped his sword as he walked. Now, passing the last beam of sunlight, he was going as quietly as possible to the darkening shadows beyond, where the mist became a dense haze. His sense of readiness had never been greater. Zertelo found that even though he was frightened, his training told him he could face whatever lay ahead. Still, the dark, unknown fear sent chilling tremors down his tail. An empty stillness lingered here, unnatural, unwanted. What had happened to the sounds of the other animals in the forest, wondered Zertelo. The sudden silence was eerie, for nothing moved, not even the leaves. With every step, he committed deeper to the chosen path. It wasn't too late to go back to the patch of sunlight. An invisible barrier stuck to Zertelo in mid-step. Trying to pull back, he noticed the web stretched like a wall blocking his way to the sunlight. He hacked at the sticky threads and pulled the disgusting stuff from his face. The scuttling sounds came nearer as he untangled the web from his tail. Something monstrously large had made this web, and something with many legs had been hunting him. It was a spider. 6 spiders, counted Zertelo, stealing up from behind and descending on him from the branches above. They were taller than him, all black and hairy, with lots of eyes and hungry, twitching pincers.
"Halt!"
said one.
"You aren't allowed to go into the restricted area.
You aren't allowed to cut down the barricades either.
And you definitely aren't allowed to have one of those,"
whispered the spider dangling above. It reached out with its 8 legs to snatch away the sword.
So this kind of gets us into, now we got 3 spiders who just spoke, so I actually tried to do it slightly different, so if you pitch it, yeah. Uh-huh. Okay.
Zertelo beat at the hard shell covering the thing's bulging abdomen. It retreated up its string with a cursing hiss. "Why can't I go in this direction?" demanded Zertelo.
Belfar's orders. We aren't to let no animals attend the gathering,
warned a spider who had already lost an eye in a past battle.
Sure.
"That isn't a good enough reason to hinder the creatures from going where they want," stated Zertelo, growing frustrated.
You shouldn't go where you aren't supposed to. Belfar's punishments for disobedience are harsh.
Okay. Do you have any out of the box? Just want to try something kooky? Can you try it and then pull it back? I'm thinking we're deep enough into the story that we may need, a little sparkle to keep the attention. I like it.